episode 424 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I will be talking about tonight's episodes of WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey, Wrestling Fanatics. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about, as I said in that little preview there, tonight's episodes of WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage. Also, a little bit of news. Today, we found out the commentary team for the debut episode tomorrow night of AEW Saturday Collision, but I will get to that later on in this episode. I am Lance Brock. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Hope everyone had a great Friday as we get ready for this big weekend with the first episode of Collision taking place tomorrow night live from Chicago on TNT. But first, let's start off with this Friday night. And we have WWE Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. And tonight's Smackdown was live from Lexington, Kentucky at the Rupp Arena. Our commentators tonight, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett once again. And we start things off on Smackdown tonight with the tag team gauntlet, where the winners of this match will get a WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship match July 1st at Money in the Bank in London, England at the O2 Arena. And first we start things off with our first two teams, the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, taking on the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus and Ridge Holland. And the Brawling Brutes start off strong, defeating the Street Profits to advance in this gauntlet. And then next is the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, representing the OC. And the Brawling Brutes once again defeat them to advance. And next up is the LWO. And once again, the Brawling Brutes advance. And next is Hit Row. And this one, just a few seconds. Sheamus hits Top Dollar with the bro kick, pins him, and the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus and Ridge Holland, go all the way to the final team in this gauntlet match, which is pretty deadly. But unfortunately, Sheamus and Ridge Holland's luck runs out here as they are defeated by Pretty Deadly. So it is Pretty Deadly advancing to Money in the Bank, and they will take on the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the titles. I think that will be a pretty good match. Pretty Deadly, of course, hasn't been on the main roster very long, but I think Owens and Zayn can get a good match out of them. We will see that match at Money in the Bank in London on July 1st. But Smackdown continues with Zelina Vega defeating Io Sky, and Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux defeat the OC, the phenomenal AJ Styles, and Michin Mia Yim in the mixed tag team match. Santos Escobar with Rey Mysterio in his corner defeats LA Knight, and LA Knight is pretty over with the crowd, I have to admit. I still not too crazy about the name. Maybe it's just me. I still kind of like better Eli Drake. But like I said, maybe that's just me. And then it is time for the final segment of tonight's SmackDown. And we see the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, along with the wise man, Paul Heyman. And now, of course, Roman Reigns with only one title belt, the new Undisputed Championship. And him and Paul make their way to the ring, and Jey Uso makes his way out, and Roman explains to Jey that it was Paul Heyman who decided to make him the right-hand man, main event Jey Uso. And he also says that Paul Heyman is his wise man, not the Bloodline's wise man. And he talks about when Jey Uso is the Tribal Chief, he will be able to have his own wise man. And then we get Jimmy Uso out, and Roman Reigns brings up something about when they decided to make Jey Uso the right-hand man, main event Jey, all that stuff. He says it was actually Paul Heyman's idea, but the one that he pretty much said, I think, that was against it was Jimmy Uso. And at first, it looks like that Jey is furious with his brother Jimmy about learning this news, and eventually he says to Roman about his brother that he is out and so am I. And then he turns around and hits the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns with a super kick. And then Solo goes to attack his brothers, the Usos, and they hit him with a double super kick, knocking him out of the ring, and Roman Reigns gets back up to his feet, and then the Usos hit him with a double super kick. So Jay, siding with his brother Jimmy, and like I've been talking about, could be Money in the Bank when we see the tag team match, the Usos taking on Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. I guess there's a chance that they could maybe hold that off until SummerSlam, but I still say that they probably want Roman to defend the undisputed Universal Championship at SummerSlam. So my guess would be that the tag team match will probably take place at Money in the Bank on July 1st. But we will just have to wait and see until that match is officially announced. So that was tonight's WWE Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. And I thought it was a pretty good show. Definitely worth checking out anyway, in case you missed it tonight. I wouldn't say maybe not a really great episode or anything, but still pretty good. And now this Friday night of pro wrestling continues over to TNT for AEW Rampage. And tonight's Rampage was taped Wednesday night, Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. Our commentators tonight, good old J.R. Jim Ross, Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and returning to commentary for Rampage, the Ocho, Chris Jericho. And tonight's Rampage starts off with a pretty exciting match. We have the United Empire, Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and Kyle Fletcher taking on Chaos, Best Friends, and Rocky Romero. Really good match here. I thought definitely enjoyed this opening match of Rampage for this week. Really great, exciting match. And then next up is women's action with Taya Valkyrie defeating Trish Adora. I'm sure if you have been watching Ring of Honor on Honor Club as of late and other independent promotions, you are familiar with Trish Adora, very talented wrestler, but it is Taya Valkyrie getting the win in this match tonight on Rampage. And next up is the Trios Mixed Tag. Mark Briscoe, Papa Briscoe teaming with referee Aubrey Edwards to take on the team of Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Karen Jarrett. And this one, wasn't expecting a 5-star classic, Savage Steamboat style kind of match. So this match, I thought, actually was quite entertaining. And Papa Briscoe actually looked pretty good in this one. He took the fight to Jeff Jarrett a little bit at one point, and then Aubrey gets in the ring, gets into it with Karen Jarrett. They fight around a little bit, and at one point Karen gets the guitar. Referee Paul Turner tries to stop her, and then Aubrey gets it. And then the referee is distracted, and Jay Lethal gets involved. And then Aubrey hits Jay Lethal with the guitar, and then she gets Karen Jarrett down and gets the figure 4 on, and Papa Briscoe and Mark Briscoe take out Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to keep them from breaking up the hold, and then Karen Jarrett taps, and I thought this was actually a really good match here. And, well, a fun match, I should say. I'm not saying it was a great classic wrestling match, and I'm sure Dave Meltzer isn't going to give this 5 stars, but I thought it was fun and entertaining. But as of right now, this could be an end to the feud. And then we go backstage. Lexi Nair is with Taya Valkyrie, and she starts talking about the TBS champion, Chris Statlander. And Statlander comes in, and Statlander challenges Taya to a match for the TBS championship next week. And Taya says she is shaking in her fur boots, and we'll see her when she sees her. And next up, we have Mark Henry in the back interviewing Don Callis, along with Konosuke Takeshita, which actually, I think they may have dropped the first name now, and now he might just be Takeshita. And he says he is better than the Ultimo Dragon and is the new wrestling god. And now it is time for the main event. Konosuke Takeshita taking on Bandito. And I thought this one was a very good match here tonight. And good main event, and is Takeshita getting the win. And good main event for Rampage this week. And that was tonight's episode of AEW Rampage on this Friday night. And so overall, we had 2 good wrestling shows this Friday night, in my opinion. Rampage was also, I thought, very good show. Definitely worth checking out if you missed it tonight. Would I say it was real great? Maybe not, but definitely a good episode anyway. So that's tonight's wrestling action that we had on this Friday night. And before I wrap up this episode of the podcast, let's get into a little bit of news. And it was announced today by Tony Khan that tomorrow night, for the debut episode of AEW Saturday Collision, that the commentary team will be Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness, with expert analysis from Jim Ross. And what they said on Rampage tonight is that, I'm guessing, for most of the show, it will be Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness calling all the action, and then Jim Ross will join them for the tag team main event, which is Trio's main event, I should say. CM Punk and FTR taking on the team of Samoa Joe and Bullet Club Gold. And I will talk more about that main event and the other matches that have been announced so far on this first episode of Collision tomorrow morning on Good Morning Wrestling Fans. And as of right now, I am still thinking about going live with 360 Wrestling Fanatic right after Collision. I'm not for sure decided about that, but I am still thinking about doing a special live episode for this big debut of Collision on TNT tomorrow night. And Braun Breaker, for the first time, has commented on the controversial comments from his father Rick Steiner to Giselle Shaw over WrestleMania weekend. He said, "That's not a reflection of me and who I am and what I'm about." Also, CM Punk has done an interview discussing some of the things leading up to his absence from AEW, which he denied trying to get Colt Cabana fired from AEW, and he said that the brawl at All Out, he admitted, should not have happened, and other things. You can check that out. I'm sure it's all over the internet. You can probably find it. Read more about his comments. And unfortunately, I know I didn't do my usual Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor episode this week, but it was announced that at Slammiversary, Scott D'Amore and PCO teaming up to take on the now former Impact World Champion Steve Maclin and Bully Ray. Scott D'Amore getting back in the ring after quite a while. That should be a pretty good match in Windsor at the Sportsplex there, St. Clair College. And also, Alex Shelley will be defending the Impact World Championship against Steve Maclin during the Down Under Tour in Australia. And also that show, the Impact Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo will be defending against Giselle Shaw. And they have already said if Giselle Shaw defeats Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship, that the match that is already scheduled between Purrazzo and Trinity at Slammiversary will become a three-way match, which actually I'm sure that would be a good match with the three of them, but I think I'd rather see Trinity's first shot at the Knockouts title be a singles match, but maybe that's just me. And that's all for tonight's episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Hope everyone had a great Friday. Hope everyone enjoyed Smackdown and Rampage tonight. Once again, hope to have more new episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic coming at you real soon. Maybe live right after Collision tomorrow night, but we'll be here for the Saturday morning episode of GMWF to preview tomorrow's debut of AEW Saturday Collision. Remember, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, if the website, app, podcatcher, or if you're listening on Spreaker, leave them right here in the comments. What you think about AEW Collision, what you think about the return to AEW of CM Punk. What do you think of the commentary team, Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness, with Jim Ross joining them in the main event? And if you have a business or a product you would like to advertise right here on 360 Wrestling Podcast, hope we can work something out. Email me 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. I'll hope to do a good ad for you right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic and GMWF. Hopefully I won't mess up too badly. Once again, the email is 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll talk to everyone tomorrow morning. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.